Erin J. Walter serves as the Minister and Executive Director for the Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry. That's our UU State Action Network. She's winner of the 2017 Sermon Award from the UU Women's Federation, and it says here a former YMCA director. It was YMCA. Okay, good. Reverend Erin is the singing songwriter, bassist for the band Parker Woodland, and teaches community Zumba as a joy practice. As a matter of fact, I called her Saturday morning and she had to get into her Zumba. Erin is the affiliated community minister of Wildflower UU in Austin, church in Austin. Her program is Showing Up as a Spiritual Practice, which a lot of you did yesterday, and we're very proud of you. It's the 10-year anniversary of the Texas UU Justice Ministry. From trans rights to productive justice, voting rights, the environment, this is a crucial time in the work of TXUUJM. Got to figure a shorter way to say that, don't we? Reverend Erin Walter joins us to reflect on opportunities and challenges our state is facing, and to invite us to deepen our practice of showing up for justice. She will also share some original music. Welcome, Erin.
Good morning. I am overjoyed to be with you today. Community is how we are going to get through all of this that we are going through together. I have a song on my heart that is not an original song this morning, but is a gospel song that we listened to yesterday as the Texas UU Justice Ministry had our board retreat all day yesterday, thinking about this work and what it means for us to be organizing as UUs in Texas in particular right now. And I just want to sing this first verse for you. It is all over my heart today. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. That last line with me. You are important to me. I need you to survive. One more time. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I refuse to go numb. That song has been one that's been important in particular to a lot of Black Unitarian Universalists in our movement, and so I shared it with our board yesterday. It comes from the gospel tradition. There are lyrics in there that you don't always hear in UU churches, and at the same time we come historically out of the Christian tradition, and so some of the work that we're doing in justice work is how we be present in interfaith spaces, in multiracial spaces, to the things that nourish different people's spirits. And so I share that song with you in that spirit. We sang, we are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. And it's that same spirit as that gospel song, I Need You to Survive. It's that same spirit. And we know that our own language is evolving, right? We said gay and straight together. We know that we're so much more than that binary. I look at your rainbow back there, and I know that we're so much more than any binary right now as we fight for trans kids in Texas and their families, as we fight for reproductive rights for all of us. I want to say to you, I think there are people in this room who have probably been fighting for those rights a lot longer than my 20 years in the fight. I imagine your hearts are breaking. What it must feel like to have won some of these battles for reproductive choice, for voting rights, for civil rights, and to see people coming for them and tearing at them. If you take anything away from this service today, I want you to know, on behalf of the Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry, your 3-4 dozen or so UU congregations all around the state, the other state action networks in our movement nationally, and all of the groups, that we will never, ever give up this fight for justice. Never. We will carry it on. It is a generations-long fight. It is a generations-long bit of work that we each take our piece, right? One of my colleagues, Reverend Ashley Horan, who leads the Side with Love organizing strategy team for the UUA, likes to say, we're all taking our shift for the revolution. So it's my honor to be taking my shift, leading the Texas UU Justice Ministry. Some of you may know my predecessor and dear friend and colleague, Reverend Chuck Freeman. He did this work for almost 10 years. And I've stepped in recently in about the last 6 months because of health struggles in his life. And so I also bring you greetings and love from him. The work that we're doing, the words that we say as you use, they're not philosophical. People's lives are at stake every day. So I want to invite 10 people who are able and willing just to stand up for me. Are there 10 of you? Maybe just a few. I'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we got 10. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. There's one. And how about 2 more? Are you all willing to stand in the front just for a moment? Okay. I want you all to look at these folks. The shooting in Buffalo took 10 lives. Injured at least 3 more. Look at what it would do to this community that we love so much to lose that many people. Thank you for standing up to help us feel that. My heart is just broken, and I don't know what else to tell you. It is hard. It is so hard not to go numb. And it's okay. It's okay. We have to do what we can to take care of ourselves. Sometimes it's okay. We go to the beach and we just let the water wash over us. We hold our babies. We call a friend, we take a nap, but we do it knowing that we're recharging for the spiritual practice of continuing to show up, for not giving up, because there are ones of us, and we don't know when it's going to be ones of us whose lives are at stake. And so we keep showing up. To me, that's what it means to be people of faith. Part of being with the Texas UU Justice Ministry means finding hope when it's hard. Because we just have to have hope. We have to believe that the work we're doing matters. And I know that it does. So I do want to give you an example before we cry anymore. And I do believe that church is a place to cry. So if you need to cry today, and I have already cried in this room, thank you. Thank you for a place to cry in community. But some things that I do want you to know is that as we have started our action hour with the Texas UU Justice Ministry in April, we've had, I think, only 5 sessions already. What this is a weekly Zoom action hour, Thursday nights, 7 to 8 Central. We gather on Zoom. Everyone's invited. You don't have to be UU. You don't even have to be in Texas. Anybody who wants to take action with us in that hour, we gather and we do that. We have already got to experience what it means to make a difference because we were part of the huge interconnected web of people who were fighting for a stay of execution for Melissa Lucio, who was on death row. And that was achieved. It was and is incredible to feel that peace of being a part of it. And no group can do it alone. We did a small part. We got together for a couple of weeks. We called and we emailed and we reached out to the folks who make those decisions. We also had one where we worked with the North Carolina State Action Network of UUs. So North Carolina folks were calling about this with us, and we were emailing and calling about issues of the death penalty in North Carolina together. And to get that news, incredible. And I know that it'll just be the first time. We're starting to see movement on the climate action initiatives that we're taking as well, trying to get President Biden to make some moves to save this planet that we love so dearly. And I feel that you all being close to the water, I feel like you must understand the earth, the sky, the water in a deep way. Every time I come to churches by the water, I want to stay. I feel your connection to the earth here in such a powerful way. But so I want you to know that this State Action Network, this justice ministry, is here to help you know that you are not alone in your grief, in your anger, or in your determination. And that we're going to take these actions together regularly. Have any of you ever been to the Capitol with us? The state, yep. So not very many because it's been a while, right? It's been a while. But what we used to do, and we will absolutely do again in January, is invite UU congregations to the Capitol to talk to our legislators about UU values and what that looks like in public and what we need from those elected officials to live out the inherent worth and dignity of every person. The commitment to democracy. All of these things. So we will do that again. COVID put that on pause, understandably, for a bit. We will do that in January. We will invite you to come to the Capitol. You will meet other UUs who care about the world the way your hearts, I know, care about the world. And we will show up together. We will sing in the rotunda, probably some of the songs that we sang here today and some others. And what COVID has taught us, and what you're doing so well, is that it's not just about in person. There are creative ways, technology is making it possible for us to show up week after week after week and not having to drive and spend that fuel to go halfway across the state. So I invite you to be part of our action hour on Thursday nights and take small actions for justice together that amplify. What we do is we ask our partners. We know we're not on the front line of every issue. We ask our partners, what can we do to support your work this week? What are your needs? What are the asks? And there's never a shortage. And we put it in a document. We make it easy for folks. And we also give you a place to meet each other. How wonderful was it who was it that was back for the first time after being on Zoom? What's your name? Karen. It was so wonderful to get to see Karen in person, but Karen has stayed in the mix through Zoom for such a long time, and that friendship is real. And so I invite you in these action hours too to make friends with some other UUs who are showing up as a spiritual practice. I also want to thank the people who come to our churches as visitors. Deanna and I got to talk this morning a little bit. She's relatively new. I think it's really important how we welcome each other and how we are vulnerable together. And what she said was she's working on how to be still, be mindful to others, and love. I'm working on that too. Because sometimes we need to act and sometimes we need to be still. And so I also just want to invite you as you show up every Sunday to be real with each other about what you're feeling, what your needs are, because it's a long road. Steve gave me the hope that I needed this morning to hear from someone who owns guns and is in touch with his friends about their feelings about gun control and your commitment to be part of the solution. Let's stay in touch. I needed that. Thank you. We minister to each other. in our churches. I want to read to you a little nugget from Adrienne Marie Brown. Adrienne Marie Brown is a Black queer feminist writer, a favorite of a lot of folks in our movement. I do believe she's speaking at General Assembly next month. So if anyone's going to General Assembly, you can also access General Assembly, our national conference, online. I would encourage you. Adrienne Marie Brown has books called Pleasure Activism and Emergent Strategy that really nourish those of us in this work, that remind us it's not just a grind, it's love, it's community. And here are her words. If love were the central practice of a new generation of organizers and spiritual leaders, it would have a massive impact. If the goal was to increase the love rather than winning or dominating a constant opponent, I think we could actually imagine liberation from constant oppression. We would suddenly be seeing everything we do, everyone we meet, not through the tactical eyes of war, but through eyes of love. Those words speak to me especially this morning, knowing that the shooter in Buffalo was wearing tactical gear. 18 years old. I'm the mother of a white son, and I think a lot about the responsibility of who he grows up to become in this world. And I know that there are a lot of forces out there that my UU values need to counteract in his life, whether I like it or not. The internet is a big place. So I just say to you as a mother, I imagine there's grandparents in this room and parents in this room, solidarity to all of you, to what it means to be raising people, good humans in 2022. But we're doing it together, and we're going to do it with love at the center of our work. Some other things that I'd like to invite you into with the Texas UU Justice Ministry. This is a book called We Cry Justice, Reading the Bible with the Poor People's Campaign. And the Poor People's Campaign is led by the Reverend Dr. William Barber. He's out of North Carolina, and they have a big rally coming up in DC next month. Now, I was born and raised UU with very little Bible and not a lot of respect for it, honestly. And so for me, as a person who wants to be doing justice work in a multiracial, multicultural, interfaith way, it's important for me that I heal and resolve and get comfortable with some of the language that is sacred to the people that I'm working with and for. And so what we are doing is the Texas UU Justice Ministry is partnering with the Texas Poor People's Campaign, and we have a weekly book group. And it's just, these chapters are 3 pages long. It's my kind of book group. And we just talk about these issues and the different chapters. There's things to reflect upon, and there's a facilitator from Campaign Nonviolence and the Poor People's Campaign. And so it just gives us a little bit of like reference for biblical scripture and how it relates to poor people, how it relates to people of color, how it relates to our movements for justice. So this also happens on Zoom at 6:30 every Thursday before the 7 o'clock. It just rolls right into the action hour. So you get some nourishment, and you don't even have to have the book. You just show up, and the facilitator like gives us things to reflect on, and then we roll into the action hour. So that's one. I also just want to encourage you, this is the communications person in me. Before I was a minister, I was a journalist. And so I just want to encourage you to sign up for the Texas UU Justice Ministry newsletter. I am working to communicate with you about what is going on in the world. I'm here for you as a resource. I'm here for you for spiritual support and action support. So that newsletter that I send out every month is just chock full of goodness for you from all over the state to connect you with your fellow UUs and what's going on for action. So TXUUJM.org is where you can find it. And I think some of your folks, Maggie and Mary, are also well connected to us, and they can give you more information about how to find us. So that's one. If you would just sign up, and then as the Spirit moves you, you're not going to do everything. This is what I tell people. One thing. One thing when you're ready. Find one thing that speaks to you. I don't expect, we can't all do everything, but together we can do so much. And then when you go to txuujm.org, if you have the capacity The truth of the matter is that money helps. And so we have sustaining givers who give monthly as a spiritual practice, even if it's $5. And as I said, our board met yesterday, we had our retreat, and we're talking about when will we have enough money to hire an organizer who can be doing the reproductive justice organizing, or the gender and LGBTQ rights organizing, or the anti-racism organizing at a deeper level of what we really want to do. And that's about fundraising. We can hire that person when we have enough funds. And so if you feel called, that is another way to show up. That's another way to show up. So I thank you all so much for the chance to talk with you about our work. It's a shared ministry. At this moment, I am a half-time executive director, and it is a big state with a lot of justice issues. So I don't pretend for one moment that I can do it. We will do it. We will do it with our partners in the front. We will do it with other progressive churches. We will do it with organizations who are led by trans people, by people of color, by people with disabilities. We will do it with them, and we will do it together. I need you to survive. Our liberation is all connected. When we fight for this work, we fight for our own souls, our own spirits, and our own joy.